I'm Vinny Politan. Thanks so much for joining us. A big Friday here in the case that we've been covering here on Court TV. And a lot of times on Fridays, you know, we're in a verdict watch. We're waiting for the verdict, but didn't quite get there today. But the state did rest. So the state said, okay, we've put in all the evidence that we need to prove the case against Erica Stefanko, accused in the murder of her ex-husband's ex-girlfriend. Now, then it's the time where the defense has to put on a case, and they have the biggest decision of the trial, and it happens in every case. Will she or won't she? Should she or shouldn't she? And we're talking about whether or not the defendant will take the stand in her own defense. You know, most of the time they don't. But sometimes, if they've got a story to tell, they're professing their innocence, they do take the stand. Well, today was decision day for Erica Stefanko. Take a look.
Ms. Stefanko, you've heard just all of the discussions that I've had with Attorney O'Brien on the record, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And you heard Attorney O'Brien indicate that for a period of time you made statements that you did not want to testify. Is that correct?
That's true, Your Honor.
Okay. And now you've recently told your lawyer that you, in fact, want to testify on your own behalf. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You understand that you have a right to not testify, and the fact that you don't testify cannot be used against you. You understand all of that?
I do.
The state of Ohio would not be allowed to comment on the fact that you did not testify in their closing arguments or even make any mention of that to the jurors. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
You understand that, and Attorney O'Brien has explained that he went over with you the fact that if you do take the witness stand, you'll be subject to cross-examination by the state of Ohio, and there are a variety of matters that they can cover with you. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Has he answered all of your questions as it relates to your decision to testify or to not testify?
He has.
Do you have any questions for this court at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Wow. When that happened, the buzz in the Court TV newsroom, at the courthouse, everywhere else, she's going to take the stand. This is going to be really the most important part of the entire case. I mean, anytime a criminal defendant takes the witness stand, it changes the trial. All of a sudden, it's about, yes, has the state proven their case? What evidence do they have? But ultimately, it comes down to, does the jury believe her or not believe her? So then came the time to take the stand, and this happened.
Judge, this court has given us probably since about noon, the break, about an hour and a half even, to discuss the matter.
Mm-hmm.
And we've discussed very, very thoroughly. I appreciate the fact that on 2 occasions in the last hour and a half, you have taken the extra time to let us confer and also to discuss the pros and cons of taking a stand. Just now, after we talked over it again, probably for the 3rd time, Ms. Stefanko wishes not to take a stand.
Oh, I see. Okay. It's her decision. I just wanted to make certain, especially after you requested that we discuss it a second time, that you had the opportunity to talk to her again and advise her of her rights. So with that then, ma'am, you're choosing not to testify, is that correct?
Yes, thank you for the extra time. Your Honor, it was a huge decision to make.
Okay.
And I really needed to think it through. So.
Okay, and we just want to make sure that that decision is yours and you're making it knowingly, voluntarily, intelligently at this time. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, very good. Then she's waiving the opportunity to testify.
And she didn't testify. So Erica Stefanko, who has professed her innocence, did not even want to hear about any sort of plea offer, and then said she wanted to testify, finally decides when it's the time to get up on the witness stand, I don't want to testify. Let's bring in Court TV legal correspondent Chanley Painter, who was at the courthouse for all of this. What a day. I mean, another twist and turn in this incredible trial that is, you know, it's only been a week, but so many things have happened, and then to top it off with this. What was it like today?
Yeah, talk about a roller coaster inside the courtroom just today, day 5 of the trial. And I was inside the courtroom when she was returning from lunch. So I was in there when the jury left before lunch, and her defense attorney announcing that she wants to testify. She will be on the stand at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So we're all anticipating this. I returned to the courtroom early, Vinny, so I can get the front row seat to bring everything to our viewers. And then she enters from lunch, and I could tell something was different about Erica Stefanko when she entered. Her defense attorney was already in his chair. This is before court has started back, and he's just writing on a notepad, like he's preparing for her testimony that afternoon. She comes in and starts talking to him, sits down real close beside him, and they have an intense conversation for about 10-15 minutes. And finally, Carrie O'Brien stands up, looks over to the prosecutor's table, and goes like this: "Time out," and called the prosecutor out into the hallway and had a discussion. While they're discussing, Erica Stefanko sitting in the courtroom by herself, really, at the table, and she's bent over forward. Her head is hanging down. She kind of nods it. You could tell that this was a decision weighing on her. And ultimately, at the end there, we see that she decided she changed her mind, not going to take the witness stand. And now the defense, will hang their hat on the one witness they did call today, Mike Stefanko.
Okay, Mike Stefanko, her husband, who also apparently, I guess, is the former best friend of the killer, Chad Cobb, her ex-husband. So he testified today. Let's take a look at one part of his testimony, which was pretty important.
Did Chad ever
Threaten Ashley.
Ashley?
Yeah. Your objection?
Hearsay.
Okay. Overruled.
You can answer, sir.
So you're asking me if he directly threatened her? Not that I know to her person, but definitely in conversation.
All right. And what did he say about that threat?
He needed her gone.
What else was he going to do to her?
He made a comment that when it was all said and done, that he wanted to keep her skull as a trophy.
Did he say that more than once?
I believe he said it on at least 2 separate occasions.
Did he say this in your presence?
Yes, he did.
Wow. So this is Chad Cobb's former really good friend, right? Was it his best friend?
Yeah, I would say best friend. His testimony today reflected that he met Chad Cobb when he was only 4 years old, when the Cobbs moved in across the street from his family home, and they've remained friends ever since, Vinny. In fact, Mike Stefanko worked for Chad Cobb and Cobb Cable Company for many years, met Erica Stefanko through Chad Cobb, and knew him quite well. In fact, his testimony today was that Chad Cobb called him on the night of Ashley Biggs' murder asking for a change of clothes. So that's how close they were. And of course, on cross-examination, the prosecutor, Felicia Easter, took full advantage of that close friendship, now calling him out on the alleged, well, he admitted it, affair, while Chad Cobb went off to jail for the murder of Ashley Biggs. And she also called him out on what we just heard right there, the skull as a trophy. Remember, we heard that earlier in the week during the recording of Cindy Cobb and Erica Stefanko. Erica Stefanko said that earlier this week. So the prosecutor accused him of watching the live stream and getting that information from that testimony earlier in the week and saying it today on the witness stand.
Interesting. But I mean, the fact that Chad Cobb he pleaded guilty. So it's not like the prosecution theory is that it wasn't him, it was her. They're saying it's both together. So interesting battles that they're making. There was a moment today that is going to go down in I think, court TV history. And let's just play it, okay? So there's a detective, Michael Hitchings, lead investigator in this case, on the witness stand. Take a look, folks.
So I'm going to show you 122. And what is that?
It's what you call a meme.
And who is that in the picture?
O.J. Simpson.
And what do you know about O.J. Simpson?
He committed a homicide in California.
Well, did he?
I believe so.
What was he legally? Legally, he was found.
He was found guilty.
He was O.J. Simpson?
What are you asking? Sorry.
O.J. Simpson was found guilty of murder?
Exactly. If it was, I'd have to go back and look at it. It's been a while.
You don't remember? Okay. But what does it say on the meme with O.J. Simpson smirking?
Your Honor, am I allowed to read the whole thing?
Yes, you can.
Okay. 99 problems, but a ain't one.
Was there any explanation with that post?
No, it was just a meme posted on Facebook.
And it was posted by Erica Lyon, by the name on the thing, on the post above it?
The way the Facebook shows, it was on her Facebook wall.
Okay.
All right, Chanley, before we get to the meme, I want to put up on the screen for Detective Hitchings. Go ahead, put up on the screen. You can go to courttv.com and watch our series. It's available on demand, OJ25. You watch the whole thing from start to finish. You will find out the ending. I will not spoil it for you, Detective Hitchings. I will not spoil it for you tonight, so he can check that out. All right, let's get back to the meme, because that's actually some pretty powerful evidence. Explain it to us.
You know, it really is. This is a part of Detective Hitchings' testimony where he's talking about, yes, most of the physical evidence, in fact, all of the physical evidence in the Ashley Biggs murder points to one man, Chad Cobb. But even though he pled guilty in 2013 to the murder, they kept investigating Erica Stefanko. He testified about how they monitored the jailhouse recordings between Cobb and Stefanko. They monitored her social media. So this was one example that stood out to him from her social media as kind of another piece of the puzzle that he wanted to present to the jurors, given the situation that she's now facing.
And she posted this after the murder, right?
Right. After the murder on her social media. And he said all they were looking for over the years was corroborating evidence. And so all these pieces over the years, finally, with Cindy Cobb coming forward with that recording, was kind of like the icing on the cake for them. And that's what led to why we're here.
All right, now, another piece of evidence, and you know, a lot of it goes back to the phone call. Who ordered the pizza? Who made the call? Who lured Ashley Biggs to her death? And Detective Hitchings today testifying about the burner phone. Like, who gets a burner phone to order a pizza? Let's watch.
The phone that was used to call the pizza company and order the pizza, what type of phone was it?
The one that ordered the pizza?
Yes.
From what I learned, it was called a phone in a box. It was like a prepaid cell phone.
All right. And on a prepaid cell phone, can you get subscriber information? Like who this phone belongs to?
Usually not.
All right. So if I have, a phone that I buy from Verizon and get on a plan, you would be able to find out who that phone is registered to or who his subscriber is on that phone, right?
Yes, I would be able to.
Okay. But if I go to Walmart and I buy one of these phones in a box, that subscriber information isn't available unless they purposely put it on there.
Correct.
And you could purposely put it on there, correct?
I believe you can.
And so you found a receipt for minutes for Verizon, correct?
Yes,
And the phone that was supposed to have been making the call was from Verizon?
that is correct.
And so did you then try and backtrack to see if you could link those minutes that were purchased on that receipt to that phone, or who may have?
Yeah, we got a hold of Walmart and asked them if they could check their security video to see who was purchasing the minutes that were on that receipt. And they were able to get video for us.
And so from that video, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit number 95. Can you tell us what this is?
That's a picture of Chad Cobb, Erica, and the children leaving Walmart.
And on that receipt that you found, was there anything other than the minutes purchased?
No,
And those minutes that were purchased, was there some amounts?
there was two 15-minute air cards.
All right. And what was the date that this video was captured, these individuals?
This is on June 18th of 2012.
All right. And do you recognize the individuals in the photograph?
Yes,
And who are they?
I believe, well, I know Chad
The
Cobb.
adults.
The adults, Chad Cobb and Erica Lyon at the time.
All right. And this would have been somewhere around 6:30 in the evening, 2 days prior to the phone call.
It says it's actually 1935, so it's 7:35.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right, Chanley, so how close to putting the phone in Erica Stefanko's hand to order that pizza does this evidence put us?
Well, there's a little issue with that, Vinny, because the minutes bought at Walmart that we see in those photos, the defense made this clear on cross-examination, could not be linked to the actual burner phone used to make that call to Domino's to deliver the pizza that night. What we did learn is that whoever made that call was close to the crime scene and used that burner phone only around the time of the murder. So while it was an interesting connection there, I think the defense made clear that, well, we see them at Walmart buying these minutes 2 days before, but we can't exactly know for sure that those minutes were used on that burner phone.
So it's not that the minutes were not used, it's that you can't prove it one way or the other.
Exactly. It could go both ways.
Okay. All right. You know, you got to put all the pieces together. Then you've got to use some common sense, and you know, you've got a lot of pieces associated. We went through them last night with that phone call. All right, what's coming up on Monday?
Well, now that all the evidence is in, Vinny, both sides have rested, we are going to hear closing arguments Monday morning. The judge saying today that she's going to do instructions when they arrive in the morning before closings. We'll hear from the prosecutor, the defense, and then the jury of 12. We have 6 men, 6 women now. We'll begin deliberating the fate of Erica Stefanko. And again, she faces aggravated murder here. And in Ohio, that's much like first-degree premeditated murder. Life without parole would be what she would be sentenced to if they do convict her.
Okay, everything on the line, closing arguments, and then we'll be in a verdict watch. Tune in on Monday, folks. Chanley Paige, rest up. You got a big week next week. Thanks so much.